Okay, thank you, Sarah. That was fine. We'll have some minutes from the August 1st meeting.
I had no comments.
I think there's only one D in rad landscaping, but beyond that, I had nothing.
Go ahead and change the name. Okay. Make a motion to approve with TJ's adjustment.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes. Okay. Sarah is here to talk about the Girl Scout Gold Award.
I wanted to talk to you about my gold award that I just started planning. I want to do like a free book exchange kiosk in the Auburn Park. And I have pictures to show you kind of like what it looks like. I thought, since there isn't a library in Auburn, and I really like the Auburn Park, and I wanted to add something to it, so
How does it work, Sarah?
So when I build it, I will put books in there to start it off, but the concept is that you give one and then you can take a book. So
okay.
It's an exchange. So it's pretty self-sustaining.
Where would you put it, you think, Sarah?
Oh, I have a couple of ideas, and I took some pictures. I went over to the park. So I was either going to put it on the corner right here, or on, if you would let me, I would attach it to one of these posts on the building, or I could put it like in the corner of the parking lot.
What size would that be? Kind of looks like maybe 2 foot by 3 foot or something. Yeah.
A little bit bigger than a mailbox.
Yeah.
I've seen these in other parks, and that's a really great idea.
It's a fantastic idea. I'm just trying to think if we put it inside underneath that roof, it might help for weather.
Sure.
I mean, we can make it pretty much weatherproof by itself, but if we could attach it to like one of these posts, that would, first of all, cut down our cost and would make it a little easier to install it.
Down in the corner there is getting pretty close to the playground. I think maybe that'd be a good spot for it when somebody takes the kids up there.
If you get bored, I'll have a book to read.
So you want to show them some of your other examples?
Yeah. I did a little more research with it, and a couple of them, there's a couple of different designs, like some of them have a couple of different size shelves for different books, like magazines or kids' picture books, and then like they're pretty weatherproof, like it's snowed on and it's perfectly fine. And then here, with the books in it.
Yeah, I like the concept of having a taller area for children's books. Because it's going to be near the playground. You have a lot of families going there, and then it might increase the usage.
Yeah, I think this is excellent.
Yeah, it's unique and it's interesting. It's a good idea. It is.
Now,
Does that one have a little window on it?
yes, it
It's a
does.
good idea, see. it's really apparent
That's what I wanted
quickly
to do.
what it is and what it's for.
Yeah, this is a pretty LFL.
Little free library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's the website that
Yeah,
you can
right there.
register to, and it shows up on the world map, and you can go and.
I think it's a fine idea. Fine idea. Be a great addition to the park
Yep,
and
I
the
agree.
community. So, turn that into a motion, like.
Yeah, Sarah, you get us the location there too. Start working.
Okay, which one?
Or replace or something.
Which one do you think would be better?
On any of those poles, I think would be
Okay.
fine, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be the easiest place to put it, very accessible. Is it down toward the playground area, those picnic tables are,
Okay.
somewhere in that location.
Some benches going in up there right now
You
too.
know, just a thought, you might want to maybe do it at this end, like, because it might be away from the food and stuff.
Yeah, it might be closer to the parking lot too. so-
But yeah, this is just a few steps from the parking lot right here.
Okay, I'd go with that.
Okay, I think that was a motion, I'm gonna second it.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes. Do you have a deadline to get this in by?
I would like to be able to get it done this fall, but depending on the Girl Scout Council and how quickly they can get
Okay.
it approved.
Okay.
If not this fall, then next spring.
Do you have any papers you need us to sign for you?
I don't think so.
Okay, if you do, you can bring them back to Nancy and we'll get them taken care of for you.
Thank you.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do you need these back?
I mean, I can take them back,
That's
yes.
fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know which post you're, did you guys?
Yeah, closest to the parking lot.
On the corner?
Yeah, right on the
Yeah.
corner right there.
Okay.
That'll be a good spot. Okay, next we have John Rice from Metzenbaum Center.
Thank you for having me. It's real short. We try to get out each year, and we're just trying to follow up. We want to start with just a real quick thank you for those of you who supported our levy last year. We really appreciate it. Without it, we couldn't continue serving the 860-plus people that we're serving. So we want to say thank you. Second thing we want to do is let you know that as we're trying to meet the federal and state guidelines to get our folks out of the buildings, they're at the traditional Metzenbaum Center. We have sites in Middlefield, in Bainbridge, in Chardon. As we're moving away from having everything centralized there at the Chesterland site, we are having some opening of building space, and we're allowing the community to come and use it, particularly if you're using it during a time when I already have janitors or a staff person who's in the building. It's free. We are allowing, the senior citizens program is in, doing water aerobics twice a week if somebody is interested in joining them. They're using the pool for water aerobics and exercises. I don't remember which days those are on, but if you call our pool folks, they'll get you all set up and you can join them. They're playing pickleball. If you've ever heard of a game called pickleball, they are playing pickleball in our gym twice a week. This morning and Thursday mornings, I believe, is the pickleball time. Pickleball's a cross between ping pong and tennis, and I can't tell you that I know all the rules. I watched them play, and
You
I'm
have to
not
bring your
sure.
own pickle.
No, it's a wiffle ball, and they actually have paddles and whatever. And if you're interested in trying something like that, please come and join them. I've never seen senior citizens get so competitive with one another. It really was a little bit of a shock to watch them literally slam one another with the pickleball. It was fun to watch. But beyond that, we have some other outdoor activities, or not outdoor, but outside activities that are coming into our buildings. You're welcome to participate. We have a music group if you'd like to learn how to play the harp or violin. They're in once a week. We have an art class that's in on Wednesday night, open to the public. If you'd like to come in and try to participate with the Artworks programs, they're there. There is a charge for the material. I think it's $5 a week for, if they're doing painting, that covers the paint and the canvas and whatnot that they're working on. We have a dance group that's in twice a week, open to the public, welcome to come and be part of their dance classes and whatever. Anybody who has an interest, we consider our building a public building. It is available for use, and as long as I don't have to bring in janitors or somebody else like that to keep the building open, it's free. Now, if somebody wants to have a wedding or something like that on the weekends, and I have to bring a janitor, and I just have to charge for whatever the janitor charges. But beyond that, we're trying to use our building as a community center more and more.
Could you also, just for anybody that doesn't know, and maybe then everybody does, but just tell a little overview of Messenbaum Center and what is their mission and what service they provide?
Our mission is to help people live, learn, and earn in our community, people with developmental disabilities. Some people know them as special needs, but anybody who has a developmental disability that begins before the age of 21 is potentially eligible for our services. Somebody who has a lifelong need for mobility or speech or any of those type of handicap functions, we get involved with them. The main goal, obviously, is to try to get somebody a job as an adult, just like we all do. We have between 80 and 90 people involved in actual community employment out in the public. That's our goal. So you may see some of our folks working more and more out in the public. Anybody who's not necessarily able to work because of a handicap or whatever, the federal government is saying that, listen, we need to get those out and in the community as much as possible. Instead of just having us having a pool where our folks are, we need to be out at the YMCA or having other people come and join them at the pool, so it's a community effect. It's called inclusion, and it's something we're working on. It's the newest thing driving the systems. And that really comes from the ADA Act of 1990, followed by a Supreme Court ruling in 1999 saying, whenever possible, people with disabilities need to be out in public. Our youngest is a newborn, somebody born with cerebral palsy or a Down syndrome or whatever. Immediately we can become involved. We have a program called Early Intervention that meets with the family, goes to the family home, and helps try to address any issues that are arising then. We work with the schools. During the summertime, we've just gotten through any school kid who is eligible for our services. We offer support for recreational programming, whether it's going to summer camp or doing some of those other things in the summertime. Once they become adults, they're back to us, and we're using outside providers to work whatever that individual would need. Maybe it's just employment services, maybe it's transportation, maybe it's a day program, maybe it's full residential. We're busy with about 185 individuals that we're handling in full residential capacities. If anybody knows about nursing home cost, it's not cheap. That's what's really driving our system right now. We have a baby boom kind of thing going on as senior citizens are getting old enough that they can't care for their 50-year-olds. It's becoming an obligation on us. So we're spending a little over half of our money on helping with residential care when parents can no longer provide. But that's kind of the nutshell. Cradle all the way to end of life.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
You provide a phenomenal service.
Well,
I
thank
know
you.
there's a couple in Auburn that use your service and very happy with it.
Appreciate that. We're proud of who we serve. They're good folks.
Thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you. Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Next we have Nicole Sweet. She's from NOPAC.
Hi, everyone. I feel a little inferior following that.
Oh.
Talk about energy. So thank you.
They use energy at those houses,
You
so you can kind of roll with it.
partly into that. So I just have some packets for trustees. I know I was one of the first in the parking lot, but the last one to walk in here. I don't know what that.
Thank you.
There's go. Thank you, Project, for inviting me as well. And my name is Nicole Sweet. I'm a relationship manager for NOPEC. And as you know, Auburn Township, you've been a member of NOPEC for some time under our electric and gas segregation program. Jim Flays, your representative for Geauga County, he is on the board of NOPEC and is your representative. The reason for my visit today is part of what we do as under relationship management is just really that. We just want to make sure that we're visible to our NOPEC communities and make sure that if there's any questions or if there's any education needs for the residents of Auburn, that we're a face and that we can come in and let you know about current programs or changes, or if you want to talk about pricing, that's always a hot topic to discuss, gas and electric pricing. In your packet there's just some information about some of the educational services and resources that we provide for our NOPEC communities. The first on top is just a flyer where the residents of Auburn can join My NOPEC. We don't get a lot of traction from this because it's an online marketing tool, but what it allows residents to do who have NOPEC for gas or electric is to track their energy. Areas in their house where they may be utilizing a little bit more energy in one area of the house as opposed to another. So it's all online, and they put information in there, and we're trying to get a little bit more participation from that. The second talks about our Energy Advisor Program, our PACE program, our Funding Mainspring program. Energy Advisor, though we're your aggregator, we also want to be your full energy advisor. There's a lot of brokers in the field, there's a lot of competition in the field, a lot of other companies that come out, they're knocking on doors, they're changing people in terms of their product and services, and we're coming up with some campaigns to educate in NOPEC communities. Our first one that we're rolling out this fall is called the Do Not Knock program. Some of the you can hear about like new programs when you come to our General Assembly in November. I'm not sure if you all generally come because Jim Flays will kind of attend on your behalf, but we would love for more of the trustees or fiscal officers to come out to our General Assembly. It's every year in November. There you approve our budget for the year. You learn about new programs, great marketing tools for the community to go back, to bring back. So one of the things I'll be following up with Mr. May about is your gas. I don't think you're currently with NOPEC for gas. You're part of our aggregation program, but we have a supplier. And from a rate standpoint, our rates have been very competitive over the last 12 months. We found a way to really compete with the fixed rate offers out there. It's called our program price. It's not a variable. So I'll be just sharing a little bit more with Frederick about that. And there's no cost to use our supplier. There's no cost to leave. No risk at all. And then another program we found that might be a benefit is our street light program. So those were the only two things in terms of pricing, that I wanted to share with you about is our gas and our street light program. But there's a lot of good information in here. Speaking of the senior population, we have been doing a lot of education, going out to community centers, making sure that the seniors in our communities are well informed about NOPEC programs, about the competition that's out there, and how to beware of people who may call and try to get you to change providers or change your supplier. We're doing a lot of education in that as well, and we have a community relations person that could come out to the community center and do some education there, because energy is becoming very ferocious out there in the market with competition. I have these little cards, and we have lots of marketing. Everything is no cost to you as a NOPEC member. So these little cards have the 1-800 number for your residents who may use us for gas or electric. If they ever have questions about their bill, they can contact customer service so that you don't get the flow of calls here. And I can just leave these here, and they're not in your packet. And if you ever have a situation, with a resident or a business and they're not getting their questions answered, you can direct them directly to me. I do analysis for communities as well as for residents who say, hey, I have NOPEC now and I don't understand why my bill is higher. We can do historicals and do an analysis. I do it all the time. So don't feel like you have to answer those questions. We're here to do all that for you as well. Other than that, that's all I had. And if it's okay, I'd like to just follow up with Mr. May
Sure,
about the gas and the street
yeah.
light. And if you're interested in it, no pressure from us at all. If it's just some way just to save a little bit more.
What is your streetlight program? 'Cause we have a lot of them.
Yeah. Okay, so from the electric standpoint, our partner for electric is First Energy Solutions. And if you're not in the aggregation program, then you're primarily a customer of Illuminating Company or First Energy, both on the utility side and supply side. So with NOPEC, you all are on the supply side. The streetlight program, First Energy, allows us to provide a discounted rate for your streetlight program. The streetlight is very complex to understand. They don't charge you by usage. A lot of community cities, they want to put like LED lighting in their streetlight, but you're really being charged for the poles.
Each unit,
for each unit. And then there is a rate that they calculate there. Right now, the CEI rate is about 5.17 cents. It just went up from 4.69 cents. That's your CEI rate that you're paying. The NOPEC rate is 4.27 cents. So we're significantly lower. We have been for about a year, and they allow us to do that. Just like we discount their electric at 6% to your residents or 4% to your businesses. We negotiate a rate with First Energy, and they allow us to do that. So, and there's no risk. You can enroll in our streetlight program. There's no termination fees or cancellation fees. If our rate should, for some reason, go above the CEI rate, you can just fall back to the utility, and there's no.
I think they're on a bunch of different bills, but I think all our lights are broken out separately.
Yeah.
If we got those,
pay a lot for street.
Yeah, if we got got those all conglomerated and sent these to you, could you get back with a proposal?
Yeah, I could do an analysis. I can tell you that generally, because the rate is the same for everyone, you're looking at about a 9% savings by switching over 6 to 9%. The outdoor lighting, the poles, those don't qualify. Those are on a different tariff rate. Mm-hmm. But your street lights should all be on one bill. Generally, there's just one. They're not okay.
Yeah, we've got some that are with a different company.
Okay.
And some that are with First Energy.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
It's Edison.
Ohio Edison. Yeah. Okay, so Edison doesn't qualify. It would just be your illuminating company. And,
okay.
And happy to take a look. I can do a small analysis, and you all could decide if it's.
We'll probably have you do that.
Absolutely, no problem. Any other questions?
Okay, thanks a lot.
It's just the customer service cards there. Feel free to pass those out. We have thousands of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move right along. We have our Fire Chief, John Phillips.
First thing I have to report is clam bake again, September 10th. We changed the serving time a little bit from 6 o'clock to 8:30. Last year it was 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Doesn't mean that we're going to close the doors at 8:30. We're just going to stop serving at 8:30. Tickets are $28, and extra dozen of clams is $10. So we had to raise it up a dollar on the bake because clams went up this year. 28 and 10. There's flyers on the wall by the bulletin board. Feel free to help yourself. Patty's taking ticket orders, right? Mm-hmm. You also can go to an email site that's also on the flyer, and get your orders in that way. What's the website?
AuburnClamBake@gmail.com.
Thank you. That's it for the clam bake. Any questions on that? Last month we talked about replacing the septic line going across the main driveway. We did that Saturday. All I have to say is you guys do a heck of a job. When you concrete stabilize, you concrete stabilize. We ran into concrete, and we had to get a mini excavator with a jackhammer out, and spent the whole day hammering out concrete. I couldn't believe how hard that was. I guess it's proof in the pudding for the road program that concrete stabilization does work. So they have a little additional extra cost, about $750 for the labor, and about $650 for the mini excavator with the concrete breaker. Sugar Valley Paving's been scheduled to mill out the 2 inches in the south parking lot and replace that with new. Also, I believe we've got asphalt fabrics online after that to do the crack sealing of all the asphalt joints and also the concrete pad and sidewalks. So that's moving along. And that's all I have to report.
Okay. We'll go on to Mr. Troyan.
There's a few items. One, I just want to make my personal regrets over the loss of Steve Latcherette and my condolences to his family. I thank the people of DTJ who were at the event yesterday, and despite the rain, they still had about 300 people that showed up. I guess they typically have more like 500, but it was still a pretty good crowd. Saw Carl working there. Thank you, Carl. And we've got 2 applications for the geocaches. We haven't talked about that in a while.
I think we need to have like a geocaching
Representative for the township?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you that I know nobody who could do a better job of that than Nancy.
I agree. I think we should give her the official title of geocache representative for Auburn Township.
Exactly. Manager. Let's call her the manager.
Manager? Okay, there you go. All right, and the specifics of the 2 requests. Are going to be this particular cache is a camo-covered peanut butter jar placed within 5 feet of a trail, tucked inside a nook in a tree facing away from the trail. It's partially covered by a piece of box.
Let's not tell everybody that. The manager's going to get upset with you.
Okay, that was just a...
You don't happen to have a picture of it, do you?
Yeah, okay. And the other one is, I'm not going to tell you.
There you go.
Well, the quest name, I give them the quest name.
So we can happy to do that.
We can, yeah, one will be Auburn Woods, Gin X57 is golden, and the other one is Auburn Woods, Shergs is golden. So you can make a motion to approve these application permits.
So moved.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll give one other small piece of business out of the way, I guess, is we do have a Suddenlink franchise fee in the total of $2,823.53. And I can make a motion to move that to the land acquisition and maintenance fund.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I had, sir.
PJ.
Just a couple things. We had like a back-to-back event on Saturday up here at Adam Hall. We had a funeral luncheon for George Timmons, who passed away here about 10 days ago. I think it was maybe 10. Longtime Auburn resident. Moved to Newberry a little later, but very active in kids 4-H and fair and
Fire department?
Fire department, original fire department, I mean. And, Auburn High School graduate, and actually he was the president of the alumni when we held they held their annual dinner up at Adam Hall for the first time this year. He'll be missed. Anyway, so there was overflow parking all the way down here. I was one of them, so I walked this up here, and we got, this tree. We got to get some trees down up here. These are going. These maples. One of them's laying on either a phone line or a cable line up there right now. So I know we're talking about cemetery cleanup every year, but this is going to be, there's probably
just
3 or 4 of them.
Get that with PJ. You are PJ. Yeah. Get it with them, Rick.
Yeah, I'll talk to myself all the time.
Put that together with the ones on Taylor Made that we're gonna, so we can put them all out. So we have a bunch of them that makes worth one of these tree guys.
Yeah, these almost everything up on the corner there. They're all big old crown trees, and they're all hollow and rotten in the middle, and they're coming down. Yeah. So it'll be pricey. It will be pricey too. Another thing, then move on. We've been the Girl Scouts. I think we had this event up here at Adam Hall before. They want to do their Pinewood Derby and I believe a sleepover. This is far in advance that they want. They're looking at Adam Hall for March 31st and April 1st next year, of course. They do a great job of cleaning up there. They're, our Girl Scouts are valuable and done great things for the township. And make a motion that we offer them no cost to kind of get this scheduled with Nancy.
Second.
Yes.
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 That's all.
Okay, just a couple things. We're winding up all of our road projects. We have some final payment here for tonight for Eclipse for the Whisperwood and the Washington Street project. Both of those, I think, ended up really nice job on both of them. And we ended up coming in under budget on those. And so we under budget about $19,000. And so we do have a recommendation from the engineers to pay Eclipse, and the revised price would be $272,002.62.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes. One of the things that, as we're, a lot of people are having a hard time finding the park, so one of the things that for geocaching is, the first thing is, can you find it? Emmerich talked with the county, and they offered to put up a sign on one road for us. 500 feet, sure. Park entrance, 500 feet ahead. And we'll have to buy the sign. They'll actually erect it for us.
They make them up there.
Yeah.
Sign shop. Yeah.
But I think that's pretty fair shake. So that's kind of just an informational thing for you. We're winding up. I say winding up. We're in the last phases of the Ascot Belmont project. It's gone very well. Hopefully they'll get the top coat on here. If not, this week early probably next week. So that's kind of came in on time. Right now it looks as that project's going to come in a little bit under budget too. So we're very pleased with that. our road crew went off and we installed a 30-inch concrete culvert about 60-some feet long over on Valley Road. It was quite a project. However, we got it done in a day and a half. We hired Mike Kodash Excavating, and he brought his power shovel over and a backhoe and a man. And I encourage you to drive up there and look at that. It's fantastic, that job.
There are more of those to do.
We are starting into a process that every year we're going to have more of these bigger culverts that have to be replaced, and we're going to keep replacing them with concrete instead of the metal ones. Now, yes, the metal ones did last 30 years and 25 to 30 years, but it just the concrete ones have less problems with them, and right now it's not a big difference in the cost. But Mike and his helper, boy, I'll tell you, these guys were good, and they helped us. Our guys helped, and so we did that one. We also did a smaller one up north on Valley Road, got it in their backfield, and all we've got to do is let it settle a little bit before we go back in and top it with some asphalt. We've got 8 inches of chip seal on Valley Road. So a little surprised by that, but
It's solid base, huh?
it's a solid base, absolutely. So that's sort of where we are on our projects now. Next week we're going to start going out and doing asphalt repairs. Hopefully the weather's going to break a little bit to be a little bit cooler. We have been doing some roadside mowing, but it's real tough on the chips when you can't drive a tractor across the chips. It just peels up on the tires. And everything's going well on all of our projects. We did a few more driveway culverts. I think we're up to 10. And so we do have a project that we talked about in the beginning of the year for a gentleman over on Quinn Road. And he has 2 culverts. One of them is an active stream. And the township put this culvert in about 15 years ago, and he's had problems with it every time there's a decent rain or anything. So we went up there and we looked at it. We'd like to hire Mike again to come in and dig it. We can pop it in a day. It'll be a little trickier. It's active streams, but that should cause no problem. We'll tackle that. And then there's another issue that you guys need to maybe drive by and look at. There's a culvert over at the corner of, the road. It's right off the Taylor Main near Wilma's. What's that first street, Wilma?
Maple Ridge? Maple Ridge?
Maple Ridge. The first gentleman on the corner of Maple Ridge and Taylor Main. The water sheets down. He said, a real high piece of property. It sheets down to the south, runs into the ditch, it comes around the corner, and also runs to past his front yard. The culvert he's got a 24-inch culvert. It doesn't handle a lot of water, but the culvert is floating in the middle. And when we had those really deep freezes, it blew up. It's blowing out his driveway. He did have somebody come in and put more asphalt on it, and that wasn't enough. So what has to happen is this thing needs to be dug out, put a perforated pipe in here so that the water that's underneath this thing can go up into the pipe and run out the pipe.
Driveway pipe, first one on the east side? On the east,
Yeah, the east side, right. So take a look at it, and somehow we need to help get some relief on this thing. His driveway is rather steep, and you'll see when you have to drive over this culvert pipe, it's even more tricky. But we're going to have to do a whole project there, I think. Other than that, everything seems to be working pretty well. I think what we'll do is we'll go to Fred, and then we'll jump back to Jim.
Okay. A lot of resolutions.
Okay. Play them like you got them.
All right. Well, first of all, I have your regular reports in front of you. Your appropriation summary, your fund status summary, and your revenue summary report, along with the warrants that are in front of you, 3189 through 3228, totaling $719,375.75. All right. We need to move some money around. We have Resolution 2016-21. I'll read it in the record for you. The Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jago County, Ohio, met in regular session on the 15th day of August. And be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jago County, Ohio, that the board finds it necessary to make the following reallocation of appropriations to pay for travel and meeting expenses incurred by our road department. We're asking for $2,000 to be reallocated from road and bridge account 2031-330-360 contracted services to account 2031-330-330 travel and meeting expenses.
So moved.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
EJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Okay. The next resolution is for supplemental appropriations, and that is to pay for tax collection fees. Those are the fees charged to us by the auditor and the treasurer for collecting our taxes. Resolution 2016-22 for supplemental appropriations. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jago County, Ohio, that the board finds it necessary to make the following supplemental appropriations to pay for tax collection fees. $6,000 to general fund account 1,110,314. Second supplemental appropriation would be $12,000 to fire levy account 2191,220,314. And those are the supplementals we're asking for.
Did we write a check for that?
No,
I didn't think so.
Maybe that.
that comes
They
off of
deduct
the
it.
memo receipt. So when we get the money in from the county, we charge it off the receipt. But we have to have it appropriated to charge it.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Even though I'm generally opposed to taxes.
Mike?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Resolution 2016-23. This is for an inter-fund advance. Okay. We need to advance money to the debt service fund so that we can pay our USDA annual payment. The county withholds the money in the debt service fund, and then they give it to us. Unfortunately, we don't have it yet. We have to pay the USDA then. So I'm asking for an advance from the general fund, which will be paid back immediately. And in actuality, the transaction is on the books. We need to retroactively approve it. Here's the resolution. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Aburn Township, Jago County, Ohio, that the board finds it necessary to make the following inter-fund advance to pay for its annual USDA loan payment. $152,123.04 from general fund account 1,929.20 to debt service fund account 3101-941-0100, effective July 1st, 2016. Said amount shall be appropriated as follows: $96,123.04 for the payment of interest to account 3101-941-830, $56,000 for payment of principal to account 3101-941-810. So we're moving 96,000 of it is to pay for interest, 56,000 is to pay for principal, two separate accounts. Further, that the fiscal officer is instructed to repay said advance effective August 15, 2016.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Mike?
Yes.
BJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
The next one is for reappropriation of funds. This is to pay increased property insurance premiums on our new service garage. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the board finds it necessary due to an increase in the value of the service garage to make a reappropriation of funds to pay property insurance premiums. Reappropriate $3,169 from Road and Bridge account 2031-330-360 to 2031-330-381.
So moved.
And I'll second that.
Mike?
Yes.
BJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Last, appropriation resolution 2016-25 for supplemental appropriations. This is to, we need supplemental appropriations to pay for mainly the Ascot and Belmont projects. So we have the money there, we need to appropriate it within the funds to pay for that. Resolution 2016-25, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that it being necessary to pay for the repair and maintenance of township highways, the board hereby makes the following supplemental appropriations. $8,570 to the Motor Vehicle License Tax Fund, account 2011-330-360 for contracted services. The second supplemental appropriation, $64,524 to the gasoline tax account 2021-330-360 for contracted services.
So moved.
Second.
And those are all the resolutions.
We'll vote on that, Fred.
Pardon me?
We gotta vote on that last one.
I'm sorry. Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
I also put in front of you the language from the Geauga County Board of Elections, and this is what would be on the ballot, or what will be on the ballot, and if you want to just take a look at it, if you see anything wrong with it, let me know. It's language that we've already looked at, but they pass it back to us. We don't need to do anything if it's okay. If there's an issue with it, we need to let them know. And the last thing on my report is I want to respond to a letter that was written to the Chagrin Valley Times by Diane Jones. That it raised some concerns about our audit findings. And, you know, I want to direct this to, you know, people like Carl and Wilma and other people here who they don't know what's going on behind the doors here. They don't understand, you know, what's true and what's not true when information's presented to them. And, you know, I want to make sure that they understand that despite what is implied in the letter, you know, we have a healthy accounting of the funds here at the township. You know, there's an implication that we overspent our resources. That's not true. Last year we had a $1.9 million surplus. You know, I want to make sure that everybody understands that, you know, we're doing a good job here, keeping an eye on our resources and making sure that we don't overspend them. There's never been a misappropriation of funds at the township. You know, there I think was a motivation to spread some misinformation and have people draw some incorrect conclusions from the information that was provided in that letter. So I just want to assure everybody that, you know, everything is going along smoothly. And Diane.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to respond. I do want to make it perfectly clear to everybody who is here assembled that the information that I provided was totally direct quotes from the auditing entity, which is Julian and Grube, which has done Auburn Township's auditing for years. And the content of that letter is online at David Yost. I believe, the state auditor.
And I absolutely encourage everyone to look at the audit findings themselves, and you can call me if you want an explanation of the audit findings. You know, there's some things that are out of context. There was a reference to some appropriations, and it was $697,000 of appropriations. And the explanation for that is, which I did provide to Diane, the explanation is that when we move money out of the general fund into other funds, the auditor has decided that we need to have that recertified by the Geauga County auditor as income. So even though that money is on our books, when we take it out of the general fund and move it to another fund, they want the auditor to recertify that. So what our auditor, Julian and Groove, did was they said we cannot count those appropriations on our books. So we had to remove the $697,000 in appropriations off the books. And I don't want anyone to get the impression that that means that we overspent our budget or that we overspent and spent money that we didn't have, because we had a $1.9 million surplus at the end of the year. So I just want to make sure that people have a good and contextualized understanding of what those findings mean. And if anybody has any questions about the audit findings or anything that they may have read in the newspaper, please, if you have any questions right now, I'm happy to answer them, or call me.
Isn't there a statement that was made when you weren't even in the fiscal office?
Yeah, I mean, there was the implication that in Diane's letter that I was the fiscal officer or was responsible somehow for 2012 and 2013, and I didn't become fiscal officer until October of 13, so it was only 2 months that I served as fiscal officer during that audit period.
For somebody who was sitting here all that time, you'd think they'd know that.
Well, actually, in fairness, you were appointed, and there were 2 audits following your appointment. And if you will recall back, on our website, we kind of gave you the benefit of the doubt for that first audit because you really did come as a newcomer. Unfortunately, this is 4
The
years
14
later.
and 15 audits were the first audit of my work,
Really?
which was one audit.
Really? You didn't become auditor in 2013?
I became at the end of 13.
Okay.
So 14 and 15 were under my
Regardless, you know,
under
I
my
don't do the
office.
auditing. I just
Make up,
recounted
manipulate
the
the
facts.
facts.
No,
Make
no,
up things.
no manipulating them. I'm sorry it's so upsetting to you guys.
It's not upsetting.
It's not
a
upsetting, but
history
I want to
that
make
you
sure
have.
that our residents really understand
Right,
the facts.
and I invite them to go to davidyost.org. If they're patient enough, they can
You know,
read the entire
You also
30-some
stated that
pages, or they can
in
read the findings of
2015,
fact.
you stated that there were invoices that were predating purchase orders.
That was the quote of
And
Julian and Group.
that's completely not true. There was
Well, I
no
can't help
finding
it.
in 2015 for
Wait,
that.
you better clear that up with Julian and Group then, because that was a
I don't
direct
need to
quote
clear
on
it
their
up. I read
report.
the audit report.
Well, okay,
There is
then
absolutely no, we
I can't
fixed
help
that
that.
issue.
That was the information in print. So you note the whole letter was full of quotes. My
Right.
only comment was the 2 questions at the end of the letter, and that was no accusation. Those were simply questions about
The-
what could possibly be the results. So I'm glad everybody read this letter and we got this much attention, and I hope there'll be time
Well-
left because I have 2 more questions about 2 warrants.
I just want to make sure that our residents understand what's really going on. They're not just
I hope
taking
that
the
they,
spin.
no. I hope that they check this out. That was the
Well,
reason
I
for
think they
putting the
just need
letter
to
in.
really check the source out because
My goodness, John Everly, you really are on a roll, aren't you?
yes, I am on a roll.
Oh, good for you.
Well, see, I'm
Man,
not
you
the
are wide
person-
awake. No drugs, no nothing.
I'm not
That's
the
amazing.
person that wrote a letter to the superintendent of Newberry Schools claiming that I lived in Newberry and had children in the schools
No,
and they were being harassed
No,
by
I-
Mrs. Kavanaugh. I happen to have the letter right here.
My goodness.
I happen to
Oh,
have the letter right here, so
what?
that would be pretty
Do you want
much.
me to?
That would
you
be a
know,
lie, wouldn't it?
Actually, we could go into other detail.
That
about,
would be a lie.
Actually, I have no idea.
You have no idea? Would you like to read it?
My concern, actually,
Would you like
I
to
don't-
read your letter?
I don't care. Doesn't matter, but maybe Mr. Kavanaugh ought to be aware that Mrs. Kavanaugh made an inquiry to my state teacher's retirement account and wanted to know the balance in it. How about that? I mean, as long
Is that
as
against the law? Is that illegal?
Where did this come from?
actually,
Is it
you
a
know,
lie like this is?
I have actually no idea, and I don't care, and it's not relevant.
You don't
anyway.
care that you made up that you lived in Newberry and had kids in the Newberry schools? You don't
Hey,
care about
listen,
that?
That is not relevant to the budget situation. And
No, it's relevant to you.
You know what? I don't care, John. When you get your head together and have time to think about your actions tonight, maybe you'll have some second thoughts.
Well, here, this is your letter right here.
So what? I mean, it's
So you
not
made up a
relevant.
lie.
Nay, actually,
Do you live in Newberry or do you live in Auburn?
I have no idea what you're
I don't think
talking
you have any
about.
idea.
I have
Right.
no idea what you're talking about. But maybe if PJ is really morally conscious, he might question his wife as to why it was important for her to know the proceeds of my state
Excuse me, this is
teaching
way off balance
Yes, it
here,
is.
off task. You need to quiet, let them finish the meeting because we're getting way
We're getting
out
way
of bounds.
off, and it
That's
is
right.
entirely irrelevant. On the other
Ma'am,
hand,
please.
excuse
need to
me,
know
it was not
Who's making these
It
wild
was not
accusations?
germane to try to do a character assassination for a
That's
letter
not a
that had
character.
nothing but quotes.
That has character assassination, just let people know that this is what you're capable of, that's all.
Man, I
That's
know
what
what
you're
people are
capable of.
capable of. I
That's
just
what you're
told you.
capable of.
When you guys are done, I have 2 questions about
Well,
that.
we're just waiting to hear them.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
What's this check that interfinish?
Yes, it's illegal. Mr. Dixon, you have the floor. Well, I believe you libeled Mr. Dixon as
I
well.
always bring you in for comic relief. It is. The job is going well, continuing to go well.
It's on schedule still. It's on budget still. We've had no issues other than now we're dealing with the rain. We worked Saturday, the painter worked Saturday, the sprinkler guy worked Saturday because they're anticipating this rain this week. We thought if we could get a clear day, the weekend we're coming in and getting ahead of it. So right now they are ahead, and they work today inside. Tomorrow we'll probably lose a day.
So the roof is
couple
coming
of
in
trays.
handy?
I'm sorry?
The roof is coming in handy?
The roof is very handy and very dry. We have overhead doors up, and we have a couple damaged panels that are on back order to be replaced on the overhead doors. But basically, we're secure as far as bad weather getting in the building. We're working on the site still. I had the site engineer come out last Thursday because we had some questions on some of his contours for the south end of the building coming down from the fire station, and we resolved that. And he even made a sketch for us of his interpretation of the way it should be to deviate the water away from the building going around where it should go. So that worked out real well too. Everybody's been so cooperative on the job. It's been a very, very good job so far. If I can continue, Chief Phillips and I met with Gilmore Security last week in an attempt to clarify and understand their scope of work for security and fire monitoring on this project. It seems that the first proposal that was introduced to you gentlemen back in May, was it, Chief?
Yes.
Was not a complete scope of work. Unbeknownst to you and unbeknownst to the gentleman that was quoting this thing. He's a new guy, and I didn't think it sounded right when I heard about it. And I brought it to John Everly's attention, and he got me all the paperwork, and I said, I'm going to look into this. I'll deal with it with the chief because he's very familiar with what he has at the fire station, which is what we want to duplicate for the service center. And we brought this gentleman back, and each time he came, I made him bring somebody that could make a decision, because I knew he could. And we got a new proposal, which I believe you gentlemen have already seen. We are under $20,000 for the whole project. It's actually $19,990. And that's, how close was that to yours, Chief? Within a couple $1,000s?
Within a couple thousand, yes.
Of the fire station. And we got more to do here, oddly enough, than we do at the fire station. Because a lot of his stuff was already in place. But I think it's a real good proposal. It's complete. It's what's needed, and it's what you gentlemen need, what you want. So I have a contract here that needs signed for them. I need to get them into the building to start pulling their wire before we start drywalling the office partitions. It's the same as what you have there. I've read it. I've read that. I've read this. I've read the back of this. So it's my recommendation that you gentlemen look at this and make a motion to pass this. And I'm not sure how you do that based on the previous motion, but
what we'll have to do is rescind the previous motion.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Okay, now we need to entertain a motion to enter into this.
Each page needs
All right, I'll do that. I'll make a motion to enter into this agreement with Gilmore Security Systems.
Dated August 15th.
Yeah, okay, I was going to look for something unique about it. August 15th. The amount of $19,990.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jim, you gonna talk about the maintenance part of that?
What if you would do that, if you wouldn't mind?
I might add that there were several meetings that transpired, and as we narrowed in exactly what needed to be done with the building, from where they originally were, we did get them down in a number of approximately $3,600. And when it came back to us with it. So I think Jim did a pretty good job beating them up, to be honest with you. But one thing is not in that $19,990 is the $195 a month repair service. When we did the station, we elected not to go with that, and that would be my recommendation for the board here. If we have a repair to do, we just make the repairs, like insurance, unless you're making a lot of claims.
Well, everything's going to be under warranty for the first year.
First year would be completely under warranty, that's correct.
So if we felt that we needed that, we could always entertain it in a year.
It's hard, for me, it's hard to justify $2,400 a year for them to come out and say, well, looks okay to me, bye.
Right.
You know, so I just as soon not have it.
We've actually had a couple of little minor issues at the station, and it's been cheaper for us to just deal with it versus having that maintenance repair in place.
All right, so you're on the $50 a month monitoring, is what you are?
Yes, we are.
What about the remote app for $10?
I would suggest you go with that because that's part of the programming, and that allows the guys to open doors with their phones if they're given permission to do so, so they could do it from a truck or whatnot. It's cheaper to go with the remote monitoring than installing the program on the computer at the garage. If we wanted to install it on the computer at the garage, then it's like $500 for the additional for the program. We thought this would be more economical, easier to work with.
And
That makes sense?
You can cancel a key fob immediately or add one immediately with this app.
Right.
So if there are personnel changes, you can address it right there on the
Do it
spot.
right
You
there.
don't have to get in your car and go to the office to make the change. You can do it right there.
So I would agree with the $50 per month and the $10 remote charge. And that, I don't agree with the $195 service fee. But you should cross that off on the contract.
Let's go back to that.
And that's exactly what we did at the fire station also.
Where's the stretch?
Just put next to it, and an initial would probably be the best thing to do.
I think just for the record, I'll make a motion to accept the monitoring service at a rate of $50 per month and the remote app service at a rate of $10 per month.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes. Jim, do you have anything else?
I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go on to Todd Lamb. It's a quote to use Todd Lamb, which we've used now for about 3 years, very successfully, to bring his paver and his equipment in to spruce up this area on the west side of Adam Hall, the area around the waste container.
I went up there and looked at that, so I will make a motion to accept Todd's bid.
How far is he going with that?
How far out are we going to go?
Yeah, I mean, up to the service door, the cater door?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We're going to go in there and then we're going to dig it out, put a new base in there with proper base in there. Then we're going to do a base and an intermediate. And then seal the joint. So $1,250.
I'll make the motion to go with the disposal from Todd Lamb.
Second.
Mike,
Yes.
BJ,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Adam Hall.
Yes. One other little project we have to wind up over in Whisperwood where we replace that great big culvert. When we started this work, the contractor excavated the north end and there was just a cable in the ground. 13,000, how many volts? 13,200 volts. Enough to get your attention.
Oh, bunch.
And it just was loose. Okay. So all the culverts are done and everything. And then, oddly enough, there's another cable at the south end of this culvert that's just been exposed for years and years and years. So we got CEI out there and they came up with several proposals, one of them being one for around $33,000. I want to thank John and the engineers. We did a lot of negotiating with them, and we got this down to this proposal where you have to have a high voltage guy come and do this connection. The township's going to excavate a scoop of dirt or two, and then that's on the north side that was uncovered during this project. The CEI's on the south side by themselves. So the price is $3,352.84.
Price per volt, that's pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap, right? So we got that down, and so I'll make a motion that we approve this contract with CEI.
Second.
I want to thank everybody that worked on this too, because that's about 10% of the original number that was
Absolutely
thrown around.
right. Yeah. John was very influential on that. I appreciate it, John.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. BJ,
Yes.
John,
Yes. Okay, one of the next things on the list here is to reschedule the September 5th meeting.
I'm open to pretty much any day, so concede to whatever scheduling works the best for you guys.
I'll go for the 6th. That's as close as we can get it.
Move to the 6th. Is that your motion?
You good, Fred? Everybody good for the 6th?
Work for you, Fred?
actually, Wednesday. Can't do it Wednesday.
I'm good. Okay. I mean, we want you here, so. You okay for Wednesday, 7:30?
As just said, anytime.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Make a motion.
And I will make the motion that we will move that back 2 days to Wednesday, the 7th at 7:30.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Makes you happy, Fred?
Mike,
Yes.
BJ,
Yes.
John.
Yes. Okay. Any comments? Yes.
Yes, and this question regards two, I presume they're legal notices, one to the News Herald and one to the Maple Leaf. So those would be 3224 and 3217 respectively. When will those be published?
When will they be published?
Yeah.
Those were already published.
So this is,
I think they were basically
okay, okay. So then that does lead me to the next question. If those two public, or those notices were not the ones that I'm thinking of, I think my question is regarding a prospective judgment entry in which apparently there's to be public notice about the outcome of that judgment entry. And apparently it requires a 15-day advance notice for the township and a 10-day notice for the appellant, Mr. Desario. So I think the question becomes, when do you anticipate that particular meeting? And likewise, when would the notice to the public go out for them to be in attendance?
Well, that's when we get the final word from the final judgment entry for us to review, and that would go to the judge, and it would be when he signs that off.
Actually, it's my understanding that this public notice, are you sure that the judgment has to come from the judge first before there'll be a public notice?
Well, I mean, I'm talking the time frame of everything. First, we have to get the finalized version that we agree on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would probably have a hearing at that point in time, public hearing on what we're doing. It's got to go back to the judge and to be signed and everything else. But
Okay, so from a practical standpoint, is it likely that that public hearing would be, as many public hearings are, immediately preceding a regular trustee meeting, or do you anticipate that this is going to be some special meeting, just
well,
out of the blue?
any meeting we ever have is usually preceding a trustees meeting.
That's true.
I wouldn't anticipate that we would have anything outside of the realm of the norm.
Okay.
I work during the day, so I can't come into any other meetings.
Most of us do. Okay. So basically...
Again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay. That answers it fairly. Thank you.
Anybody else? I entertain a motion.
No, wait a minute, we got trouble there.
I want to publicly thank you guys for the job that you're doing and your service to our township.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, we appreciate it.
Thanks for everything you guys did too. Excellent. We're real busy doing stuff in our township
Fred?
for a long time.
Our pleasure.
Somebody said something nice about us. Can you put that in capital letters in the
I'll second that.
italics or something?
Is there a motion? I'll second that. Is there a motion? I'll second that.
On that note, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Call for the
We have
vote.
a motion, we have to vote. We have a motion and a second, we have to vote.
And you guys are doing a great job.
Call for the vote.
Okay.
All in favor?
Carl, call for the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
In favor of anything.
Opposed? Voice vote, motion passes.
Michael? Yes.
No, we did a voice vote.
John?
Voice vote.
Yeah, I was going to put these,
Yeah,
just put these
two
up
of
on
us. You have
the...
to voice vote.
I got Fred, one guy, Ron Losick, calls me every year, gives me the rate he's paying versus this rate. From now on, I'm just gonna send him over to our business.
So we'll do is I'll...
No, but I was wondering.
Hey, Fred, give this to Nancy. That's so we can, any problems we can send directly to her and she can deal with it. The rest of them will put right up on the account.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, since I had a schedule and didn't see anything then, we didn't do anything more.
Yeah.
But thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
I think we're adjourned.
Yeah,
we're adjourned. Excellent.
All right, we can go home now.
Our tree grows from both townships, and so, okay, I'm just curious.